For joining us, Phil. You want to get us started with opening remarks?
Morning, guys. I suppose the first thing is obviously the injuries we've got in the squad, or where the squad's at in terms of the fitness of the squad. We've got Gibbs back, which is a really good addition. Come back with his experience. He's trained the last 3 or 4 days. Feels good. Feels really motivated. So he comes back into the equation for Wednesday. We obviously lose the 2 players from suspension for Wednesday, Nico and Leandro. Joa's not quite ready for this game. We're hoping at a push for definitely for Portland, but knowing Victor, I think Atlanta is a fair aim for him. Robbie came off obviously the other day with 30 minutes. He did some light training this morning. Still felt a little bit discomfort, but we're quietly confident that he will be in the squad. Obviously, there's another 24 hours to go before, 48 hours before the game, so it gives us plenty of time to manage that one. Shawcross, Ventura, Jones, Frey, Figal, Leandro, Ulloa are all out still, so we are literally down to the bare bones in terms of defensive options. But I always think that these are the situations that I love the most, in terms of its opportunities for those on the outskirts to come in and make a real big effort and to get a real big opportunity. And it won't just be for 1 game; it's probably going to be for 2, in terms of Figal's out for 2 games. So there's opportunities now for the squad to really be tested in a game that is again, it's another cup final for us. It's a game where we want to bounce back. And it's a game that will take us back up to the place, if we win, to the places where we want to be. And we are obviously really disappointed. It took the team a couple of days. Saturday, Sunday, the team were probably really in that frustration, angry type mode, and so are we. But we took responsibility for a really poor performance. But hopefully, it's just a blip and a minor bump in the road, and we can go now. We can go. We have to go now on another run like we have done the previous 10 games.
Thank you. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We're going to get started with Lauren and then Michelle.
Hi, Phil.
Hi, Lauren.
Thanks, Rafa. You talked about the togetherness of the team, the fight of the team. How is the team's attitude heading into a midweek matchup after a small setback last week?
Well, I think we took a hit on Friday, a hit that none of us probably expected, probably from both in and outside the club. It was probably maybe the score line probably hit us really hard, and when you've not had that feeling of defeat, it hurts you. It hurts you a lot when you've not suffered for a long time. So like I say, it took us 48 hours to really get that out of our system. The disappointment, the why, what we did wrong, what we did right, and ultimately today I saw the eye of the tiger back in the team again, and we have to take another. We've took many steps forward in the last 2 months, but we just took a little step back the other night just to probably reset. And we have to go again. There's no time now for mistakes. There's no time to recover. We have to go again, and we have to go again hard, and we have to go again harder and be better, and be even more relentless in what we've been doing.
Next question, Michelle, then Franco,
Okay.
and Austin.
Phil, MLS has a rule about extreme hardship, that if you have under 16 players, field players, you're allowed to bring someone up for 4 days or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you guys fall in that threshold, or do you have to wait till Wednesday to see how many, if you have 15 or 16, or, because we saw Mabika out there today, is that a possibility? How does that work with the extreme hardship?
Yeah. We obviously, it's a rule that I've looked up in the last few days, but obviously we've got 16 players plus George Costa plus Felipe Valencia, so Mabika's not at this moment in time an option. I think the MLS is a really good league, and I suppose the one challenge I would have to the system that we have at the moment is that this would be a game without a shadow of a doubt where Mabika, Harvey, Modesto, Noah Allen would probably come into contention to start an MLS game. And you're talking about developing your own players, developing your own system, developing your own academy kids. I think this is definitely something that maybe we need to look at as an MLS, is that when you have a USL team that are all your players, surely there's got to be some kind of pathway for them into the senior team, and I say that from the fact that surely that's what we want as a country and as a football league. We want to produce our own players. We know to the influx of foreign players has been fantastic throughout the world in every league, but ultimately the life and soul of any league is their homegrown players. The life and soul of any football club is the players that you bring through, and ultimately a rule that we have is blocking the progress of probably 2 or 3 young players to maybe start an MLS game on Wednesday, which I think it's something that we maybe as a league need to look at, because we want to give young players opportunities. This football club wants to produce young players, and I just feel that rule just needs looking at from a going forward, developing, improving standpoint of view.
Next question, Franco, then Austin.
Hey Phil, I have 2 questions. I'll just stick to one for now. It's something on that the English outlets are asking about, and that's on Romeo. What'd you think of his debut performance yesterday, and would you just overall him turning pro as a father of a player, following in your footsteps? Same with David, happens in the sport from time to time. Just your thoughts on it all and his performance yesterday.
Yeah, I thought he did really well. I think the measure of his performance was that he was only planned to play 45 minutes, and he played nearly 80 minutes because he's a boy that's hungry, and what he has got, he's got a lot of pressure and expectation on his shoulders. But what he has got, he's got his feet firmly on the ground. He knows he's got a lot of development to do, and he's got all the right attributes: character, determination, good person, to have a really good opportunity of making it in professional football. And what we're trying to do, we're trying to develop a group of players in that USL. I think we've got a real special group of players. I really do. I think there's 5 or 6 out of that group that have got a real opportunity to play MLS football, and he's part of a good group that we've got, and we know that we're going to have to really push these guys. Really push them in terms of the way that we treat them, the way that we train them, and the real pleasing aspect of his play is he just wants to play football, and he's in that dressing room. He's so popular in the dressing room, and he's obviously been brought up the right way by his parents.
How do you guys manage that? I'm sorry if I get just quick follow. How do you guys manage that? You as a father with the son on the team,
Yeah.
Or just across from your experiences seeing that father-son relationship. There's obviously expectations, like you said, especially with the name.
Yeah.
How do you guys manage
Well,
that as coaches and as well?
Well, I think it goes back to the way that you've been brought up. I think the first thing that David said to me was that you've got to be harder on him than anyone else. He's got to work harder than anyone else to get into that team, because there will be questions, there will be expectations on his shoulders, no different than my son, who's in this football club. And like I say, I'm harder on my boy than I am on any other player in this football club. And he knows that if he has any chance of making it this football club, he has to play, develop, work harder than everybody else. And that's the decision that these boys have made. These boys have made the decision themselves. When I joined this football club, Harvey was at Manchester United, Romeo was obviously, and I played no part in us signing my son. Let me tell you, it was done by other people. The decision was made by my boy, and that's a decision he's got to make himself. And he knows when he's in this football club, he's no different than any other player. And it's the same with Romeo. And the good thing is that they've both got their feet on the ground, and we've got coaches in that USL team that are treating them really well, and they're working them really hard. And I think it's really exciting.
Next question, Austin.
How you doing, Phil? In the last match, we saw Gonzalo Higuain for the first time take set pieces from far out to deliver service, and he did really well with Robbie getting on the end, or unfortunately not getting on the end of one. Is that something you guys are exploring going forward, Gonzalo taking set pieces and trying to provide service to help bring a different dimension to your attack and score goals from that range?
Well, I'll be honest with you. We briefly touched on Gonzalo practices set plays most days, and what we say to our set play takers like Fede, like Luis, and Gonzalo, Victor Yajoa practices them a lot. Is that there's a feeling on the pitch when you go on there that if you fancy it, take it, and it was purely off the cuff that Gonzalo did it. We know we have a group of players that like to take set plays. It was a really good set play. It was a really good delivery, where we do need to get the deliveries right. Gonzalo's got that quality. It's happened before. I think it was a game at home. It might have been Montreal where Gonzalo did it. So it's not the first time it's happened. But ultimately, it's an area of our game where we want to keep improving.
Next question on the call, Dairon, then Chris Whittingham.
Thank you, Rafa. Hi, Phil. Thank you for
Hi.
taking this time with us. Last weekend, you were very emphatic in the fatigue that the team was feeling during the week. I wanted to ask you if you have a plan for Wednesday, considering already that you already have two players that are not playing like Pires and Figal. But are you considering maybe giving a rest to other of the principal players?
Well, I think Dairon, I think if you have a fully fit squad, I think you can rest and rotate. Maybe the one thing I thought about Friday is that, and I take full responsibility, and I've told the team this, is that I did think I should have rotated a little bit more. I should have freshened it up a little bit more. I think there was a real flatness to our performance on Friday from the first whistle, not since the sending off. From the first whistle, we were second best to most balls, and I think the travel just caught up with everybody. So ultimately, I take responsibility for that. I thought about it. And decided against it. So, but we're in a situation now where we've had 4 or 5 days between games. We've a situation now where our squad we're down to probably 13, 14 fit players, outfield players, to select from, where we just have to pick the best team to win the game. And we have to pick the freshest team. We have to pick the team that's 100% fit to run around and to fight against the second best team at the moment in the league, in Nashville, who I think are a brilliantly coached team. I love their manager. I've got to say, I'm a massive fan of him. The way that his teams have the characteristics of teams that are going to be successful and are consistent. The reality is, we had a 9-point week last week and we only got 6 points. It's not a disaster. It was just a little bump in the road. We need to make sure now that we bounce back quickly and we select the right team, the right system on Wednesday night. The team that's going to go out there and give the best performance. The team that's going to go out there and give a performance that will be able to stamp our own authority on the game, control the game, hopefully, and nullify the threats and strengths of a really outstanding team in Nashville.
Chris Whittingham, then Michelle.
Hi, Phil.
Hi,
I was just curious, since you mentioned the center backs are available, not being able to bring up Aime, who are the options for playing in the center of defense? McCoon has played well, but are there any other players that could be makeshift? You played Kelvin in a back three before. And also, is there a temptation to bring up some of the players that you have on academy deals that have featured for Fort Lauderdale in George and Edison and in Felipe?
Well, I think the thing that we have to consider whether is that ultimately at the moment we've only got one fit centre back in a system where we normally play three. So ultimately we need to look at the system, I think, to make sure that we get the right players. I don't know if you use this terminology in America, but square pegs in round pegs in square holes or whatever, so whatever it is. I don't even know it myself. Square pegs, round holes. That was it. Thanks, Franco. So we need to get the right players in the right position, and sometimes that means a system change. We'd love to continue with the three at the back system. It's working really well. The players are comfortable with it, but ultimately we haven't got three centre backs at this moment in time that can play. So ultimately we might have to adapt our system a little bit to make sure that we get the right players in the right positions. Yes, like I said before, it would be great to bring up academy players, but ultimately we have we have enough forwards in our squad at this moment in time. We have 2 players for every position. The only players that we need is defenders, and that's why I spoke about Ame and Harvey, Modesto, Noah Allen, these types of players, because we need defenders. So that unfortunately we can't do that. I never like talking about the players that we haven't got. I like to talk about the players that are fit and ready and available, because they're the most important ones on Wednesday, the ones that have to go out there and do a job for this club to get us to where we want to get to.
Last question, Michelle.
As you know, there were reports out of Mexico that Tigres was interested in Nico. I think the window closes on Wednesday. Do you feel confident that you're going to have Nico for the rest of this season? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, 100%. Nico Fidel will be an Inter Miami player come Thursday morning. 100%. I think the speculation, because our players are playing really well, the speculation because Nico Figal has been absolutely outstanding, one of our most consistent players, probably the heart of our team in terms of his character and fight and the size of his heart. So he's not the type of player that I want to be getting rid of at this moment in time. He's not the type of player that this team wants to be rid of either. He's the type of player that we need in our central of our defence, because it gives us, if we have Nico Figal in our team, it gives us the best chance of winning football games. And at this moment in time, we want to win football games, and you can't let your best players go. And unfortunately, we live in a world where there's obviously lots of speculation, lots of agents around there that all want to make their fast dollar. But ultimately, he's an Inter Miami player. We think the absolute world of him. The players absolutely love him. The supporters, I think, love him as well. And he will be from now to the end of the season. He will be an Inter Miami player.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, guys.